Just an early obsession with music, really. That sets you off on the trail, and then you start finding out about it. And yeah, and I had a piano teacher at an early age, so yeah, he was a bit blind, a bit deaf, and you know, so as a result, my piano playing skills weren't too good, but you know, I made up for it in other areas, you know. Yeah, I do. I do remember. I think I was 14, and of course it was like juvenile nonsense. But you know, that's a good place to start, and you know, started from there. It's exciting. I found it exciting then, and I still find it exciting now. Same feeling, just a kind of a more learned person, you know. Well, I learned guitar, you know, self-taught guitar, and you get into lots of different cultural music too, and from that you realise there's the amount of things you can do. The potential is so great. Kind of makes me want to mix things up a bit more and be a little bit more adventurous as far as kind of, you know, especially arrangement goes. It's easy to sit in a easy arrangement format. Not that it can't be good, but you know, I like to kind of see what you can do with the ideas that you can use. That's a mainly nature-related record. However, you know, many attachments to other things. Of course, the financial situation of our great country here, you know, and how that interrelates with nature, really. You know, I'm a keen lover of nature as it is and as it was set out to be, an uncontrolled version of nature, and you know, things are controlled a lot nowadays, so a bit of a mix-up between like the control which is implied upon it and the freedom which it wishes to have, you know, and that's, you know, it's a context freedom, you know, because it's still got its own boundaries, nature, you know, it's got a thin little bit of the biosphere to inhabit, you know, it does its due there. It wouldn't work in space, you know, so yeah, just thinking about things really, and you know, I like growth in nature. I'm not keen on growth human related, to be honest. I mean, here we are, look at this, you get sirens like that going all the time, you know. I think a place which had got its things together wouldn't have sirens going all the time, would it, you know? Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it's hard to put your finger on it, and would you want to put your finger on it, you know? But I think it's a mixture of kind of a bit of spiritual feeling and what you're affected by here too, for me. And a mixture of the both, really. I always find it funny that someone says they've written a song, you know, which they have, kind of thing, but it could have come from somewhere else too, you know? So, I mean, it would make the PRS's job a lot harder to find out where the thought had been plucked from, you know? It kind of, you wouldn't be able to do that then, but yeah, it's. I think songs come from many places, not just from the person who writes them, and so I'm quite open to that. And you know, if I can catch melodies and think up melodies too, then great. But you know, it's each song's a challenge as well. You start each song like the fresh canvas thing, and it doesn't get any easier. But again, the excitement doesn't diminish, so I enjoy it. That's why I still do it. You know? Yeah, well, that was for a song that was used on the Outside Bet film, which was released recently. And I worked with an excellent engineer and player, Marco Nelson, on that project. And yeah, it was great. It was nice to hear him doing something a bit different too. I mean, I think the track remains unreleased apart from the film, from being on the film. So yeah, it's a good tune, and it has echoes of kind of Ronnie Lane, a little bit Kinks kind of thing, and yeah, good tune. Great bunch of players too. Well, you know, I'd probably become a little bit stagnant myself if I sat on my own, so having people to work with is great, you know, because there's some fantastic musicians and collaborators in London, so why not mix it up with them learn from them, and hopefully, you know, you'll inspire the other people too. You know, music is just kind of where you want to share it, really. You make it to be shared, so yourself. So I don't see why you can't share it while you're making it. You know, collaborations are interesting. I'm working on one at the moment with Viv Albertine and Steve Beresford, and again a completely different context, but already it's making us all act a bit differently and think a bit differently, and it's good. You know, I like it. Should do that to move on. You know, those changes that move you on interest me. Well, you know, I think in a good room with a nice crowd and a good sound engineer live is probably a preferred notion. However, those magical moments in the studio and the considered time you can get there is also great. The overdubbing and, you know, building something up. You know, they're great. They're great things. Moments too. If you can have those moments live, though, they're nice. You know, you kind of want more of those after you've had them, and that's why, even though it's kind of it can be tricky gigging live out in London. You know, it's when the good gigs happen, it's fine. You want to carry on with it. You know, and again, sometimes I play a lot of smaller gigs, and I like the sound of those smaller gigs. You know, I think you can get a good sound and a good atmosphere, whereas the bigger gigs you're kind of open to elements, and you know, the big scale stuff, you know, it looks good on telly. It doesn't always sound good in the place you're in, whereas the smaller gigs you can usually kind of keep the sound nice. So, you know, but however it comes, really, you know, gigs on a roof, you know, got asked to do a christening last week. Who knows what next month will bring.